When an agency or an attorney needs a family, they know when they go to RG Adoption Consulting, we are going to have families for them. Almost always, unless it's a really difficult to match situation. But assuming just like a pretty decent situation, even with a little bit of mental health or substance exposure, but 9 times out of 10, agencies know RG Adoption Consulting is going to deliver because they have a lot of families from a lot of places with a lot of backgrounds, and most likely they're going to have at least 1 or 2 or 3 families that our mom is looking for.
Welcome to the Adoption Roadmap Podcast, your go-to guide through the beautiful, complex, and transformative journey of adoption. I'm Rebecca Gruenspan, a single mom through adoption consultant for over a decade, author of the Adoption Roadmap book, and your trusted guide. In each episode, we dive into real experiences, expert insights, and the raw, honest truths that you will need to navigate your journey. Whether you're just beginning, in the thick of it, or well past placement, you'll find support and community here to help you navigate this unique path with confidence and love. Adoption isn't all rainbows and butterflies. It is life-changing and worth every bit of effort. Let's learn, grow, and journey together on the Adoption Roadmap Podcast.
Love, 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 all of me loves all of you. Love me tender, love me do. I will always love you. Okay, today is Valentine's Day as I record this, and I love you. And it is my family day. What does that mean? Some people call it Gotcha Day, which I don't particularly love, but some people call it Gotcha Day. It is the day 13 years ago, that my son and I, under the eyes of the law, became a family. He became part of my family. So my son is my forever Valentine. So happy Valentine's Day. Is this not the most fabulous red lipstick? Please, I'm here for it. I just got it and wearing it for the first time, and I am not mad about it. Welcome and happy Valentine's Day to This Week in Adoption and the Adoption Roadmap. So, we have some things to talk about. The first being, in the last week, and I'm opening up some notes here because I know I've got some. In the last week, I have received no less than 5 situations, 1 week, probably all in 2 days, no less than 5 situations asking me for Black families. Black families, biracial family Black, see that little, people who have adopted Black children, mamas, birth moms, expectant moms who are Black want to see mirrors for their child in the family that they choose. So, if you are on the fence, and I'll tell you a story. I was actually doing an inquiry call with a biracial couple. She's white, he's Black, and I was telling them about this, and I was like, listen, I am not trying to convince you of anything, and I'm not trying to get you to give me money. However, that said, if you happen to sign up with me in the next 24 to 48 hours, before we even have a conversation, I will have like 4 adoption situations to send you. And I was a woman of my word. So one day in and they are already presenting because they came to us home study ready and with a profile. So that's how they were able to do that. But that was super, super, super exciting. So yeah, shout out to any Black families who are on the fence about adoption or wondering if you will get chosen. You will in a hot second. Number 2, when you are not chosen, what kind of feedback do you get from an agency? That answer would be none. Seriously though, you really don't. Just, I'm sorry, mom didn't choose you. She chose another family. Every once in a while, you might get, and I don't know, this might be worse than none. Oh, you were one of 2 families, but she went with the other family. Or maybe she really liked your profile and it was a hard decision for her, but she chose another family. So you get no feedback. And you're lucky if you even get an email saying that you weren't chosen. It's awful. Sometimes I'm hounding agencies saying, I sent you families a week ago. What's happening? So that's that. That question came up. And what happens if you are not getting chosen? I want to talk a little bit about profiles. And I've talked about this before. Swapping out pictures in your profile could be something that you could do to increase your chances of getting some attention and ultimately getting chosen. Now, when you are choosing profiles, oh, do you see this little heart on my finger? Is that as cute as can be? There. If you are watching and not just listening. Pictures in profiles have to be really good pictures. So if you're thinking about adoption, just start taking pictures everywhere and anywhere you can. Take them from your phone. Phones have wonderful cameras. Take them of each other. If you're in a relationship, take them together. Hand your camera to somebody and tell them to take it of you. Stage and put the timer on in your house when you're cooking or, just playing around at home, doing the things you love. Just take pictures. Take pictures of yourself, with yourself. Take pictures with friends, with family, with your pets. But they have to be really good pictures and not pixelated, not shadowed, not squinty. I mean, this is important, you guys. This is really important. You are asking a woman to choose you to parent her child. And if you're like this and she can't even see your eyes, she's got to connect, okay? Now, there's always exceptions. So, obviously not every picture is going to be picture perfect. You also want to share a story in your book and you don't want them all to be posed. That's number 1. So big, nice pictures where you can see everything going on. The other thing is colors in your profile. So we work with professional graphic design profile experts, and they will give you different color palettes and say, choose your favorite colors, basically. Choose the palette that you like and choose the layout that you like, that kind of thing. Choose colors that you love, that resonate with you. And I will tell you that I personally think, and it's not to say that it's always like that the people who actually choose color, I think get noticed quicker. Use some brighter colors. Don't be afraid. And if you're not using brighter colors, make sure your pictures scream with personality. The other thing is that I tend to think that people who have spring and summer pictures on their cover of their profile, also there's some sort of air about you and just, I don't know, I think it's more attractive than cold weather pictures on the cover. Just some tips that I have picked up along the way over my last 12 years. So that's that. And then also, this really aggravated me this week. Because every time I think we're finally over this whole idea of there is a difference between a consultant and a facilitator, and a consultant does not make placements. We do not facilitate matches. We don't make placements. So when I get a text message from someone saying, oh, our agency said we can't work with a consultant in Ohio, I'm like, your agency is wrong and they are giving you misinformation. And I hate the fact that adoption professionals are giving just wrong information. They should know the difference between a facilitator and a consultant, because consultants are pretty prevalent now. I mean, it used to be when I first started, I was one of like 4. Okay, so you get them confused. No more. Like, a consultant is a consultant. They do not, I mean, if you're using the word correctly for your title, they do not facilitate placements. They do not make matches. They do not work with expectant moms. Facilitators do. Facilitators are illegal in many states because you don't need a license for either one. But facilitators do make matches, and they do work with birth moms. And to what extent, everybody's a little bit different. But sometimes there are legalities around facilitators. Consultants can work with families in every single state in the U.S. until you show me in writing a law that states otherwise. I have really never had an issue. That's not true. I had an issue once with New York. New York is its own beautiful, they have their own beautiful legalities. But even with New York, I don't think it's illegal to work with a consultant. It's just a matter of, do the people who look over all the whatever understand what a consultant is? Once they do, I remember when I first started, I talked with an ICPC person, the person that looks at all the documents and decides, can you adopt this baby? You know, the baby that is in your arms and mom chose and the baby's been born. Can you come back to the state? And I had an issue when I first started. And like I said, there weren't very many consultants. And I talked to the ICPC person, and she came on so pissy and so judgy and so angry. And by the end of the call, she was like, oh, it sounds like a great service. I don't have any problem with that. So we educate, we hold your hand, we support the hopeful adoptive parent, and we have connections that we can help you connect with. We're a resource and an educator. That's what we do. And it sounds simple, but trust me, if you're adopting, you need it. There's a lot of resources you need. There's a lot of guidance, and we save you a lot of time and money. So I just wanted to throw that out there. And then I know I started my first season of the Adoption Roadmap podcast going through some stats each quarter of how the quarter went, what it looked like, what we learned. And I don't think I went through Q4, or really I don't even go through Q4, just kind of end of the year stats last year. And so I just wanted to take a little bit of time to do that. And I'm going to start with reading you our vision and transformative statement, which is that we empower, and when I talk about we, I'm talking about RG Adoption Consulting, which I am the CEO and founder of. We empower families seeking adoption through expert guidance and compassionate support to turn dreams of parenthood into a reality filled with love, understanding, and joy. Guidance and support. That's who we are. And our brand promise is that we vow to navigate the complexities of adoption with transparency, care, and personalized attention, empowering you to make informed decisions at every step of your journey towards parenthood. As of the end of 2024, RG Adoption Consulting has helped 436 families through adoption, and I think we've had something like 12 more or something already this year. So I'm super proud of that. Q4, I'm pretty sure we did, 21 placements in Q4 of 2024. And most people are finding us. I get this question all the time. How do people find you? The most place people find us is Google. The place people find us most is on Google, and then social media and word of mouth. Okay, in 2024, we had a total of 73 families take placement. We work with a lot of families. We work with a lot of families from very different backgrounds. We do not discriminate against anyone, so we work with everyone from everywhere. And by the way, those 73 families, I think, adopted across 25 different states. The reason why we work with, I'd say like close to 100 families at any given time. And the reason why, and that sounds like a lot to you, I'm guessing, but number one, you'll feel fully supported. We got this down to a science, but it's good for you because when an agency or an attorney needs a family, they know when they go to RG Adoption Consulting, we are going to have families for them almost always, unless it's a really difficult to match situation. But assuming just like a pretty decent situation, even with a little bit of mental health or substance exposure, more special needs is a little trickier. But 9 times out of 10, agencies know RG Adoption Consulting is going to deliver because they have a lot of families from a lot of places with a lot of backgrounds, and most likely they're going to have at least 1 or 2 or 3 families that our mom is looking for. So that works to your benefit when you're working with a consultant. We talked to 186 potential families last year, and we tend to work with over a third. I think it was like 35% ended up working with RG Adoption Consulting. 69 new families maybe that started with us last year. Okay. So of the new clients that we brought on last year, 56 were married and 10 were single. 56 were married, 10 were single. 61% were white, 24% were biracial, 9% Black, and then the others Asian and Hispanic. Let's see, what else could I tell you? Of the families that took placement, I think, and it's on our website, I'm not 100% sure, but I think we had 11 single women take placement last year. Almost 10, I think 8 gay couples, or gay couples specifically. We had 1 lesbian couple last year. The gay and lesbian couples last year, it was a little bit slower for them last year than it typically is. And our single moms, we had more last year than typically. So that kind of swapped. Last year was definitely the year of the boy. And I'll tell you what, this year, I think probably for the first time ever, I think is going to be the year of the girl. Because we've had more girl matches and placements and situations that we've seen this year than I think we've ever seen. It always seems to be the year of the boy. Last year, 47 boys and 28 girls were placed. There was one, let's see, I think there were 2 sets of twins. The race breakdown of the babies that were adopted. Almost 33% were white. Let's say 27% were white, were biracial white. So white, Black, white, Hispanic, white, anything. 21% were Black, 6% Black, Hispanic, and 13% Hispanic. That's always interesting to look at, I think. We received 177, 173, something like that, situations, a lot. I think it was 177 that we ended up with, which was more than ever. And always the number that we receive that agencies and attorneys will send to us and ask if we have families, usually about 20% of those are matched with one of our families. This year, I think it was like 22%. Let's see here. Interestingly enough, of the fall throughs that we had, which fall through rates went up really high last year, highest I've ever seen them. I think about a quarter, I don't have the stat up, but about 25% fall through rate. I think I've had all but one family who have had a fall through go on to adopt, which is great news. But we were starting to look at the stats of what are we seeing? Like, is there a stat that shows us that a longer match is more apt to fall through than a shorter match? And actually, we are seeing the opposite, which makes no sense. I mean, even baby borns, people would fly out and by the time they got there, mom's changed her mind, which used to be really rare. But we're seeing the majority of fall throughs between, less than a month to 2 months are the majority, or even to 4 months. And we're seeing the ones that are over 4 months not falling through as much. Listen, it's still all over the place. I'm never going to encourage someone not to do a quick match, but it's just really interesting to see. Last year, 2024, was probably the wonkiest year I have ever seen in my last 12 years in adoption. Just everything that used to be the norm was like totally ass backwards last year. And I don't know why. And here's another stat, but this is a really good one. Last year, we saw the most placements with no exposures at all, which is always great. Maybe the use of opioids are declining. Wouldn't that be nice? I think we might have had one closed adoption and the rest were open on some level. And as far as the cost, let's talk about the cost because they keep rising. I'm hoping it levels out soon or even goes down, but we had, let's see, between 50 and 60, 6, 5, 4, 3. We had 23 that were between 50 and 60. 50 and 60, yeah. So I'd say that's probably still where I see the majority. We had 11, though, that were 61 to 70. We had a handful above 70, but we also had 10 that were between 30 and 50. So lucky them, for sure. Lucky them. I think that's it. That's all she wrote. I just wanted to do a recap of 2024 with you guys to kind of give you the behind the scenes insights of the world of adoption. Like I said, 2024 was super wonky, and I'm hoping some new trends are going to start this year. And I kind of, in my heart of hearts, get it. It's Valentine's Day. In my heart of hearts. I do. I think things are shifting a little bit more for the better. I've had the most fantastic conversations for my podcast coming up. So if you have been listening to the Adoption Roadmap podcast and you get anything at all out of it, which I really hope you do, I just ask that you share it with one person that you think could also get something out of it. It really helps us to get our message out in front of more people. And listen, I'm just trying to keep it real. I want people to know the truth about what's happening in the adoption world, and so that you can make informed decisions as you start or move forward in your adoption roadmap as well. Have a wonderful weekend. Happy Valentine's Day. Go love somebody. I don't care who it is, but show them love today. Have a good weekend. Bye.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode of the Adoption Roadmap podcast. If you did, I have a few favors to ask of you. First, please hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. And while you're at it, I'd love to hear your takeaways. Please write a review and let me know what you liked. And if you have a question or a suggestion on what you'd like to hear, I'd love to hear that too. Please shoot me an email at support@rgadoptionconsulting.com and let me know what you'd like to hear about. And if you have a question, I may just answer it online. Thanks again for listening. Tune in every Wednesday and Friday morning for a brand new episode of the Adoption Roadmap podcast. Until next time, bye-bye.